Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell the truth about silver. Today is Thursday, the 21st of January, 2021. And we're briefly reporting on what has happened to markets generally since Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States of America. It may surprise some, so let's take a look. Now, firstly, we would like to draw your attention to what we feel is an important video moving forward, one we actually produced or published yesterday, entitled What Janet Yellen's Appointment Means for the US Dollar and Gold and Silver Prices, where we basically highlighted her dovish approach, particularly her dovish economic training, or shall we say Keynesian economic training, and how that may impact moving forward. And also early in the week, perhaps a video not that enticing because of its title, China to Outgrow the United States by 2028, but important nevertheless for those of us who invest in gold and silver to actually pay some heed to. And we've placed details of both these videos below. Now, before we continue on the topic of today's video, just a quick note in reaction to some of the comments we've received on recent videos, as we feel it's really important that everyone understands where we come from. We live in the United Kingdom, though we have both political and economic contacts around the world, literally around the world, and especially in the United States. I myself, in addition to what I do commercially and politically, I'm a lay, non-denominational pastor, amongst other things. And I have some truly, please trust me when I say this, excellent contacts within the evangelical community, some of whom are, and some have been, very close to the White House. So, to some extent, we've got a pretty good idea of what is going on inside there. Now, we believe, and I certainly do, that honesty, integrity, and treating people with equal fairness and objectivity is often more important than some of the policies that those people adopt. Now, that said, there are extremes, of course, that we would never support regardless of how good someone might be. But we do tend to find that people who have those traits usually try and do the best for those they represent. Now, quite frankly, all of us at Illuminati, bar perhaps one, found Trump to be morally bankrupt and deliberately divisive because he felt it was politically beneficial for him to do so. And probably that has proven to be the case. But at the same time, we admit that he adopted a number of policies that were indeed beneficial to the United States. Now, on the face of it, Biden appears to have moral integrity, but time will tell. We will discover some of his previous actions as they come to light, whether he is innocent or guilty of them, and we will tell by the way that he behaves. But on the face of it, at this moment, he is certainly giving that impression. And he may very well adopt policies we won't like or believe are beneficial. So we are often the receivers of criticism from both camps, making us almost the friend of neither. Now that's a shame, because we personally have friends who cover the whole gamut of the political spectrum. For those who listen to our Richard and Greg channel know that Greg absolutely loathes Trump, while Brother Anthony absolutely adores him. I have friends who would make Trotsky appear right-wing, and others who make Ronald Reagan appear a lefty commie. In other words, people's political beliefs and views do not define us as a channel, but what we see happening and what we believe will be the ramifications, and what we assess, not just believe, will be the ramifications of those policies that our political leaders and financial leaders adopt. So we do not base those analyses on whether we personally agree with them or not, but on using a range of criteria our assessment concludes. Often, those assessments result in a conclusion that many people do not like and do not wish to hear. And we have seen, on certain topics when we raise them, our subscriber count actually going down. It would be far easier for us to say the things that you would like to hear. And I know I've touched on this before. But then we lose our integrity. And we're not prepared to do that. So please do not think that when we cover something, whether we're proven right or wrong, that it is any way based on personal bias. Now, that applies to today's video because some may regard it as a little controversial, and it'll certainly apply to future videos. But we can only report what we assess is likely to happen. Now, having got that out of the way, do you recall all of those people, some on our channel, who said, after the election, Biden will never be president? Well, he was inaugurated yesterday. We could see, again from our contacts, that most of the legal claims were going to fail. Not because of some vast conspiracy amongst the American judiciary, although one will admit, looking at how the American judicial system works, there are certainly degrees of political bias, but that tends to be more on a state-by-state basis rather than perhaps necessarily on a federal basis. But we don't doubt there is a degree of it there. But for all of those legal claims to have been cast out by judges on all sides of the political spectrum, made it very clear to us that any counterclaim of fraud was not going to be accepted. So for those who said he won't be, sorry, he has been. But what we're focusing on here is what Trump said would happen if Biden became president. I don't know if you can recall. He said stock markets would collapse and would only rise if he was re-elected. Well, rather than collapsing, many stock markets have now risen to all-time highs. This is what Bloomberg is reporting this morning. Quote, global stocks climbed to an all-time high on Thursday on optimism that fiscal spending will revive economic growth and bolster corporate earnings. The dollar weakened. European shares rose around 0.7%, with cyclical stocks including automakers and banks leading gains. S&P 500 futures edged higher after the index posted its best first-day reaction to a presidential inauguration since at least 1937. Nasdaq 100 contracts outperformed following a 2% jump on Wednesday. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index topped 30,000 points for the first time since May 2019 before dipping, while the yen was steady after the Bank of Japan kept its main policy settings unchanged. Oil dipped as pessimism over demand was offset by a weaker dollar. The MSCI World Index touched an intraday high on Thursday as investors look forward to increased economic support and an expanded federal effort to get shots to more Americans under President Joe Biden. That's even as several Republican senators expressed misgivings about his $1.9 trillion aid package. Stimulus plans in Europe will come under further scrutiny after the European Central Bank's policy decision later Thursday. Quote, we are really optimistic about the growth and markets outlook for 2021, unquote. Leigh Lacona, senior market strategist at BNY Mellon Investment Management, said on Bloomberg TV. The reflation trade that has been going on since September has more room to run. Now that's the end of that article, and as mentioned there towards the end, the European Central Bank is making an announcement today, and depending what comes out will dictate whether we comment on it or not. So what do we have? We have Yesterday evening, the Dow closing up 257 points at 31,188. The S&P 500 closing up 52 points at 3,851. And the Nasdaq up 260 points at 13,457. Now this set the scene for overnight Asian stock markets, which were broadly up around 1%, and this morning UK and European markets are also up on average around 0.3%. Now we all know and we're all aware that markets do not fully reflect the performance of an economy, but they are an important indicator and therefore cannot be ignored. The dollar index is weaker again this morning, but still holding above the 90 level at 90.2. Particular interest, gold and silver prices are up, with gold rising now to $1,872 and silver to $25.93, attempting to test that important $26 level, and may actually do that now, especially if confidence in the economy is going to increase. There's an expectation of higher silver demand for industrial purposes. Very briefly, because the video is getting a little long, on the political front, President Biden has signed a swathe of executive orders, 15 in fact, many of which have reversed a number of Trump's policies, and they include coronavirus, wearing of masks, beginning of rejoining the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, revoking the presidential permit granted to the controversial Keystone XL pipeline, and also revoking the Trump administration's emergency declaration that helped fund the building of a wall along the Mexican border. Now, it's not the right time, or we do not have the time to comment on each of these, as no simple answers can be given, but we shall produce future videos addressing a number of these issues. What is clear is that Biden plans to do much in his first 100 days. And yes, admittedly, much of it undoing what Trump has already introduced. What interests us, though, and we mentioned it yesterday, is what Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, if confirmed today as we suspect she will be, is going to introduce by way of both stimulus and taxation and infrastructure spend requests to Congress. So far, markets like what they see, but for how long only time will tell. However, notice the creep up in precious metals. And interestingly, Bitcoin is taking a slight hit and is down $1,700 at $33,817. That's it for now. If we get a chance, either later today or early tomorrow, we shall also be publishing episode 3, the final episode of our Platinum 2021 forecast. So what do you think about what's happening? Why have markets responded so positively to the Biden presidency when those previously supporting Trump felt that they would collapse? Do share your thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Not forgetting to press the bell sign so you're notified of our videos as and when they are published. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative. And if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.